This is Rezzies and Redeyes with Zoey and Andrew. We're here to share our travel stories, food adventures, and tips to make every one of your trips unforgettable and hopefully with a lot of laughs along the way.
And we're so excited to have you here along for the ride
You can check out all our photo and video highlights on our Instagram account.
at Rezzies and Redeyes. And if you have a travel hack, a tip, or a question you'd like us to cover, drop us a DM and your passenger notes might just get featured on the show. And don't forget, if you're enjoying the podcast, please rate, subscribe, and leave us a review. It really helps more travelers and foodies find us.
All right, let's get into it, baby.
Let's do it. Yeehaw.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on episode 5 of Raisins and Red Eyes. Before we delve into the episode on our Manhattan trip, I want to apologize to everyone and to Zoe and to everyone listening for the delay in releasing this next episode. I've actually been going through this whole diagnostics of trying to figure out why our mics had suddenly just stopped working, and no one was more frustrated than I was. So we apologize.
Well, we've also just been very busy.
It was mostly the mic problem.
It was not.
Maybe a little bit of the World Cup, which, tier for USA. So, but yeah, so this episode, after we finished our Brazil trip, we wanted to go into my 40th birthday trip that Zoe took me on to New York.
Yeah, this is actually probably one of my favorite trips we've taken so far. And it was our first big trip together. So it was very special.
Yeah,
And it was for Andrew's big 40th.
it was. This is why I'm trying to match it for Zoe's 30th birthday in a few weeks, and she still does not know where she is headed.
I don't. Maybe New York.
Maybe. But first, before we get into the episode, let's go over our passenger notes.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, all right. So we have one question. This is coming from Amanda in Santa Rosa. She was actually asking a question from our Delta One trip. She's actually asking, would we rather use the extra money, the cost that goes into business class seating versus using it for, let's say, like better lodging wherever your travel destination is? What do you think about this, baby?
Yeah, I think personally for me, I'd rather spend the extra money on a nicer hotel.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I think it depends on where you're going and who you're flying with. Because obviously, I think if anyone got anything from our last episode, is that the Delta one was not worth the increase in price, which was about $3,900 a ticket. And we definitely could have stayed at, like the Copacabana Palace there in Rio by using those extra monies, towards
Extra
the stay.
several $1,000s. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could have bought the Copacabana.
But say we were going, to Dubai, right? And flying, Emirates, their business class. Maybe it's a different experience.
Well, obviously it's a different experience, but also you're going to be on the plane for, 10, 12 hours. You'll be at your hotel maybe longer. You also get more amenities. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, it's dependent on where you're going and who you're going with.
You're going with me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Well, in the event that
I meant who you're flying with.
in the event that Zoe's flying with someone else, definitely don't do business class.
Oh my God. I
All
meant
right.
airline, not boyfriend.
All right. Thank you, Amanda, for that question. We appreciate it. All right. Let's get in to our trip to Manhattan, baby.
Let's do it.
So we did our Manhattan trip, my first trip to Manhattan, over a trip that was 4 days. We spent 3 nights there, right?
3 nights.
We did 3 nights there. And we also did the big Michelin restaurant there, which is Le Bernardin. But we also did another restaurant that's very near and dear to our hearts and actually inspired the trip.
Yeah. So the whole reason I picked New York for Andrew was because he is a huge Tom Clicquio fan. And if you've ever watched Top Chef, like we do, Tom is a great guy. He's very funny.
Yeah.
And his flagship restaurant, Craft, is there in New York. And so
Was there.
well, yeah, I was there. It just recently closed.
Yeah, it's
So
so
sad.
sad, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I picked New York based off of that flagship restaurant being there and surprised Andrew by giving him the craft cookbook
Mhm.
signed from Tom.
In Zoe's handwriting, which was a very nice touch. No, it was a really, really nice gift and a huge surprise. I didn't know where we were going. Zoe had told me, just get packed. We're going to be gone for 4 days. And she took me on an incredible journey to Manhattan. Like I said, I'd never been there before. So it was phenomenal. And we have been trying to get on to Top Chef one way or another.
One day. I'm working
Not
on it.
soliciting right now, but we are trying to get into one of their tasting events if it's ever going to be possible. Yeah, so we did this trip in 4 days. We are going to focus on just day one and Les Bernardin, and then we'll finish the rest of the trip on our next episode.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm really excited to talk about this.
Okay. How did this airport trip start, babe? This was back when you're actually still living in Long Beach.
Yep, and I remember it going very smooth.
Did not. That is not true.
That's how I remember it.
Not. So I think this was when I really learned that Zoe likes to spend as little time as possible at the airport. And she openly admits it, right, baby?
I mean, yeah, if I have nothing better to do.
And this trip to the airport, because we took an Uber from her condo in Long Beach, and so we left late.
We didn't leave late.
Then we hit traffic on the way on the 405.
Well, there's always traffic there.
And then there was traffic in the airport ring to get to our, and this was I think it was like an 8:30 a.m. flight. And there was this big backup of traffic in the airport. Our Uber driver wasn't concerned at all. Zoe wasn't concerned at all. I was having a minor panic attack.
Well, we made it on the plane and we flew with Delta.
Yeah, so this was my first time on Delta. As everyone knows, Zoe's been flying Delta for years before this. I didn't really know what to expect going on to the plane, and this is where I really saw the benefits of flying Delta because we sat in the comfort premium, and I was just blown away. The seats were so comfortable; they were big. You had your outlets all set up and everything. I mean, I was in shock. I was used to flying Southwest, which
Ew.
I have some things to say about Southwest, but not today.
I would never put you on a Southwest flight, baby.
So yeah, so the plane ride there, doing our crossword puzzle, which is our usual game to pass the time, was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a nice short flight, and we flew right into JFK, which, as you know, if you flew in there, it's a hot mess. There is New York Airport there that you can fly into, probably the better option.
That's
Less traffic.
LaGuardia, yeah,
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 LaGuardia.
yeah. But Delta doesn't. Delta only flies to JFK.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Um, so just like Zoe's saying, yeah, the airport is going through. Well, at least when we were there, this was about a year ago, was going through some construction.
I'm sure it's still going through
It
construction.
might still be going through
Just like
construction.
LAX is always going through construction.
Yeah. So I mean, so we were just going to take an Uber from the airport into Manhattan, but what we learned later is that there is a subway station you can take into the airport that then takes you all the way back to Manhattan.
Yeah, Subway might be a good call. I mean,
I think next time.
cheaper and
Yeah.
maybe faster probably because the traffic was horrendous. I just hate getting on a subway or metro with all my bags. But
Yeah, I mean, we
that's
traveled
fine.
light this trip, but I agree. Yeah, I mean, if you're carrying a lot of bags, definitely the Uber is the way to go. It took about an hour and a half to get into the city. And the Uber was probably like $150 if I remember right. So it wasn't cheap, but getting to the Uber was a problem. Zoe has blocked this part out. I don't know how she blocked this part out when I brought this up to her later. That, when you look for the Uber signs, similar to LAX, you have to take a shuttle over to where the Uber pickup is. but the shuttle pickup area was just a complete disorganized mess. There was no line. It was just a huge mob of people with all their luggage. Everyone just tries to rush onto the shuttle as soon as it pulls up. Thankfully, Zoe's tiny, so I was able to pull her with me, and she made it on.
Yep, we got on.
So we took our Uber into Manhattan. We got to our hotel, and where did we stay, baby?
We stayed over at the Essex House, which is a JW Marriott property now, and it's right across from Central Park. I think this is like the classic, one of the classics of New York, and you always see it on the New York skyline. So I really wanted Andrew to have like the most classic New York experience possible. It was a great location. I loved the hotel. Um, how was our room?
The room was small. I mean, it kind of reminded me of when I was in Paris. The hotel I got in Paris was it was just just a bed and a small bathroom. So this was similar to that. But everything, I mean, it was nice.
Yeah,
We didn't have a view, did we?
we did not. We could have had one, but we didn't. Yeah, you can pay for the upgrade for the Central Park rooms,
Yeah, but I
which I'm
think
sure are great. I'd stay there again.
oh, absolutely, yeah. No, I think the location is what really sells it because when Zoe told us where we were staying, I looked it up. I was like, we're right on Central Park. So the location is, I think, what really sells the hotel because you're literally right on the border of Central Park there. And when we arrived, I immediately felt like a New Yorker. I wanted to walk fast, talk fast, and
Wow. I think next time I'd like to try the Plaza out though.
oh yeah,
I need
that's
one of those
that's
sundaes.
the Home Alone
Yeah.
movie, right?
Mhm.
With the $600 Sunday.
However many $100, yes. I need it. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, we got into the hotel and there was that first night where we had a reservation to Le Bernardin. I actually heard about the restaurant from one of our friends, Sam. He had just randomly mentioned it and said, hey, if you're going to New York, see if you can get a reservation here." And when I looked it up, I saw it's a 3-star Michelin, and I didn't think we would have a chance in hell to get a reservation. But because it was a Tuesday night, they had a 9 p.m.
9 PM, yeah. I think it wasn't even the last sitting, I don't think.
No.
This was our first Michelin restaurant together. Very big deal.
Yeah, so this is kind of what started off our whole love of dining together, which,
And
I
traveling together.
and traveling together. Exactly. Yeah. Because, you always get a nice restaurant, but it's who you travel with and who you eat with. Right, baby?
Exactly.
But before we actually went to the restaurant, I was starving. Zoe was starving. So we had to find food around. And I thought, what better than just to walk around?
Yeah. And we found a cute little Chinese restaurant.
It's a little dark.
Dark and moody
Yeah.
is great. I loved it.
Yeah,
What was it called?
it's called, Blue Willow. It's on the corner of, 6th Avenue and 56th Street there. So it was literally, a short walking distance from, the Essex House, and I was blown away. I mean, that I don't know what you think, baby. That Chinese food was the best I ever had.
Oh, yeah. It was like so authentic, but
Mhm.
we just had like a couple small bites.
Spicy.
Spicy. Lots of Sichuan.
Yeah, a
We had
lot.
some cocktails.
Yeah.
Service was great.
Oh, yeah.
I would
Mhm.
totally go back there if we were there again.
Yeah, for just like a whole meal, I'd love to go there and try everything on the menu because it was so delicious. So, yeah, so if you're in that area around there, go check out Blue Willow. It was fantastic.
So after we had our snack, we went back to the hotel to get ready for the real meal of the night.
So we got back to the hotel and we got changed to go to Le Bernardin, which Zoe will tell you a little bit about the restaurant.
Yeah, so Le Bernardin actually started in the 1970s in Paris by Maggie and Gilbert Le Cosé, two siblings that are from Brittany, France. So they opened the restaurant there in Paris, and shortly, about a decade later, in 1986, they opened Le Bernardin in Manhattan and closed the Paris location to focus on the Manhattan location. So Eric Ripert came into the restaurant in 1991 and took over as head in 1994 after Gilbert's passing. So, actually, just a few months after opening Le Bernardin in Manhattan, they earned a 4-star review from the New York Times And a few years later, during the inaugural Michelin Guide, they got 3 stars right off the bat.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and have held on to those 3 stars since.
Yeah, just skip right to the 3 star. Wow.
Yeah, no need to fuss around.
And this is why I thought it was interesting because, like I said earlier, we just heard about this restaurant from a friend, and then you come in here and there's all this history of the restaurant and its roots in Paris and what they're doing at the Manhattan location, which has a very strong focus on authentic seafood prepared in French cuisine, obviously. And I think if we left with any impression there was that they really do make the seafood the star, which is fantastic.
I think their whole thing is just focusing on kind of simplicity in a way,
Yeah.
and they really kill it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we'll get into each of the dishes individually. Maybe so we walked it, right? Or did we take a cab there? I think actually we did take a cab to the restaurant, which once again, it's close by. I think it was about ten blocks away. What'd you think about the restaurant?
Remember we couldn't find it because there was
Oh,
construction
that's
outside.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
did walk.
We might have walked there and back.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think we did.
But anyways, there was construction outside, so it was hard to find. But once we did find it and walked in, it was a beautiful space.
Oh, yeah.
Very like classic
Elegant,
fine
classy,
dining,
yeah.
dark and I loved it. Leather booths, all
Mhm,
that. White
mhm,
tablecloths.
yeah. Yeah, we were greeted immediately and, sat down, and they were very accommodating because I have my little quirks when I go and eat with Zoe. So I don't know what everyone else thinks, but when I go to these, fine dining restaurants, I like to eat side to side. I think it's a more intimate experience with your partner, and you get to see what they're eating, they get to see what you're eating, and I think it's just easier
And
to
then I get to eat your food.
then we get to share with each other's plates.
Mhm.
But I think it's easier just for us to also to talk about what we like and how the meal is going. So they first sat us down. It was like a small dining table, right?
Yeah, just a single two-person table.
Yeah. And by this point, because like I said, the reservation was at 9, and the restaurant had begun to empty out a little bit at that point. And so I had asked if we could sit in one of the big booths.
And they were very accommodating and put
Yeah.
us right there.
Yeah, we'd already, I think, gotten our drinks and our bread service, I think, by that
Yeah.
point, and they still moved us over to the booth, which was, very nice of them because that seat was great.
Yeah, it's a nice big, booth in the corner of the
It was
restaurant.
like the clamshell, right? Like the
Yeah,
clamshell booth?
we
Yeah.
looked out at everything, so we got to get some good people watching and sit next to each other.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So I really appreciated that. That's always a nice touch when they're really accommodating. So, what was the pricing for the, tasting menu, baby?
So the chef's tasting menu is $350 with a wine tasting, um, which is at $530 for the
Yep.
whole thing.
Mhm.
There's also a vegetarian option that is a little bit cheaper. They also have a dinner prefix menu that is about $270 and also like lunch options.
Oh,
So
yeah, I forgot they were
there's
open
like
for
a lot
lunch.
of different options when you go,
Yeah.
which is nice. It's not just one menu that you get.
Yeah, yeah.
We obviously elected for the chef's tasting menu with one wine pairing to share.
Yeah, and so once again, another nice touch. They were accommodating to our one wine pairing that they said, yeah, we could absolutely share. The sommelier there, they had their big
Giant
Flava
medallions.
Flav
I've
medallion.
never seen that anywhere else. I am really curious about that.
Yeah, so they
I
had
wish I
their
had felt more confident at my time there to
task.
ask what is that?
Yeah, so if anyone knows, DM us so we can find out what those medallions mean. I assume it just shows that their rank as a sommelier, if I had to guess. But
I know. We
um,
need to go back there and ask.
yeah, no, the sommelier was awesome. Remember, he told us you were going to have the best champagne ever.
Oh, he was very much an expert in his field.
Yeah, very knowledgeable. Absolutely. So the tasting menu is an 8 course tasting menu with 2 desserts to finish off with. So 6 savory courses, 2 desserts, and amuse bouche to begin with. We had first our drink service, which was quick, right when we sat down. This was memorable because it was my first Manhattan in Manhattan.
I mean, yeah, it's been truly life changing for you, I would say.
Yeah, that is my go-to order now. That is all I order if I'm going to have a cocktail is a Manhattan, and they're delicious.
I mean, yeah, they're great. And Bernardin really knows how to make one.
Bread service, what do you think, baby?
It was a little sad.
Yeah, so this was the low point of the meal. So thankfully it was just the bread service. I don't know, it just didn't seem very creative.
Doesn't even need to be creative. It just needs to taste
And
good.
these days good,
I
you're right.
mean,
Yeah.
especially I love bread.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, they came by several times with the bread basket, but it's like, I don't want this dry, hard bread.
Yeah, this I don't know if it's because it was the end of service, but it's a 3 Michelin star restaurant, so I would expect them to have enough
I
bread
don't
to make it
know.
through the whole
Like,
seating schedule.
if Gordon Ramsay's people had come through with that bread basket multiple times, oh my God, that was like the best bread I've
Yeah,
ever had in my life.
when we were in London, yeah, we did have the greatest bread service. So that was
With the greatest butter.
with the greatest
So
butter.
I
Yeah.
feel like they could improve that.
Yeah. So that was, like I said, that I think that was a low point, but from there it got rapidly better. So we started off with the amuse bouche, which was I don't know. Amuse bouches. I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, amuse bouche.
Which I've always just found as playful little bites in these restaurants, but
The
what
whole point
well, I know. I'm just saying, but
to amuse.
sometimes they can be afterthoughts, but no, these had a lot of thought put into it. Yeah, so it was served in 3 bites. The first bite was almost like a cucumber wrapped seafood bite, which was light and refreshing and nice to start off with. The restaurant paired this with crab and salmon roe crisp as well, which also nice and salty with the seafood. I thought it was perfectly seasoned. And then the crisp gave it an excellent texture and crunch. And then the third portion was almost like this warm, seafood fritter almost. I'm sure they have something fancier to call it than just a fritter, but also this was nice and warm and delicious. So this was a great way to start off the meal.
What was our first course?
So, starting off with the first 6 savory courses, we began with a hamachi sashimi with pickled mushrooms and a watermelon radish and citrus dashi.
Yeah, I thought this was so delicious, especially since, you go to a restaurant and they all have hamachis.
Yeah.
But this was like next level, especially with the dashi. This was probably the first place that I've ever had a dashi.
Yeah.
But and then all of their courses came out with a sort of sauce. What would you call that?
Well, yeah. So I think we understood what each dish was going to be because they bring out the dish which with the seafood as sort of like the main star of the dish, and then each of them has an accompanying sauce or broth or
Yeah, that they pour on separate
yeah,
at on table side.
yeah, table side. And the sauces I thought for every single savory dish we had really pulled all the flavors in, and this one was no different. The fish was perfect, and the citrus dashi and the watermelon was nice and refreshing, and I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, love this one.
So following the hamachi, they then brought out next a baked madai, fennel, olive, and citrus medley, and a sauce bergule, if I'm pronouncing that right. So what do you think about this one, baby?
Yeah, so the madai is just like a Japanese red sea bream. So very light, delicate, mild flavor. Thought it was delicious. I think that was like my first time having that.
Oh yeah, never heard of the fish before.
Yeah, so obviously baked perfectly. I loved the sauce again. It's just like a classic sauce made with white wine, olive oil, some aromatics. It was like the sauce was so nice and warm
Yeah.
with like the fish. Everything just kind of melted together
Hmm.
and had this flavor bomb.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic. So, the olives, a little bit of salt, the fennel, a little bit of sweetness, that, and then with the barugule, yeah, all pair together really nicely. So, and then every single, not just the sea bream, but every piece of seafood that we got in this whole progression was just perfectly cooked. Like everything was just fantastic. And I feel like every time I make a halibut, I dry it out. I did that tonight.
No.
So it's always nice to get just this perfectly cooked fish.
Yeah, I mean, no notes there for me, chef.
Where do we go to next, baby?
We moved on to the Montauk shrimp with a fennel mussolini and sauce bouillabaisse.
Yeah, this you're not a big fan of shrimp. I think
I
people
was
know
a
that.
fan of this shrimp.
You like this shrimp, yeah. But yeah, this shrimp was delicious. So, perfectly seared, obviously not chewy or tough. So perfectly cooked once again. And then the mussolini added sort of the silkiness to the dish, and then was paired with the bouillabaisse. I didn't know what a bouillabaisse is, so I had to do a little research on it. It's actually a classic provincial seafood stew they do there in France. It's typically made with various types of fish as well as tomato, fennel, saffron at times as well. So this paired with the mussolini and the shrimp just all blended together perfectly. It's a very, very delicious bite.
Yeah, I agree. Loved it. All right, what did we have for our fourth course?
We were just blown away by the next dish, which is actually their signature dish there at Le Bernardin. This was the baked salmon with royal Acetra caviar and a horseradish emulsion. And baby, what did you think? Because I love this one.
I could eat this every single day. I mean, amazing. I have no idea. I just don't.
What do you think of the salmon?
Like a piece of butter.
Yeah. I remember when my mom said, when I was a kid, like, oh, salmon when you cook it's supposed to taste buttery. This literally was like butter when you
I've
ate
never
it.
had salmon like this before.
Yeah. And then, of course, you put caviar in anything, I'm going to love it.
Yeah, the caviar was perfect, but the horseradish emulsion was
Made
mind
it,
blowing.
made the dish.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You think of horseradish and sort of these strong flavors, but it wasn't
not
that strong.
overpowering at
Right.
all.
Not
It
overpowering at
just
all.
complemented the seafood.
Exactly, like paired perfectly with the brininess of the caviar and then that butteriness of the salmon. I just gonna clap.
Yeah.
This one
I
was
don't know what
fantastic.
kind of sorcery they're doing up in there. I know why it's their signature dish now.
Following the excellent salmon, we got another classic fish. This was their halibut dish.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. This was a steamed halibut with baby vegetables and jus de Vandi. So yeah, this one was again perfect. The halibut, very moist and silky, paired with the baby vegetables, which is great balancing touch. I
Mhm.
liked that.
Yeah,
And then
good
the
texture.
jus de Vandi, which I probably am not saying that right, but I'm not French. That translates to meat juice in French, though. And I loved this
Yeah.
broth. It was like very deep umami flavors.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, Again, it was like that nice warm broth in this like this lake around the fish.
Yeah. Mhm.
A nice warm broth bath around the
Yeah.
fish.
I think it's one of the videos we have, which you'll be able to see. But yeah, that savoriness of the jus de viande with the halibut, yeah, was once again a perfect pairing.
Great job.
After this, we moved on to the last savory dish in the progression. This was their grilled hiramasa, roasted maitake, and bone marrow red wine bordelaise. So the hiramasa is actually just a Japanese yellowtail, but the variation of the yellowtail is a more rich, buttery type of yellowfish, which I think is why they chose it for the dish here. They lightly grilled it, and once again, grilled to perfection, just perfectly done. And the additions to this dish were the maitake mushrooms, which means dancing mushrooms. So this just added excellent earthiness to the dish to pair with the yellowtail. And then the bone marrow red wine bordelaise. Once again, another sauce I had never heard of. I had to look it up to see what it is. This is another traditional French sauce that's typically made from red wine, shallots, and herbs. And once again, just like all the other dishes, right, baby? Joining the sauce with the fish and with the mushrooms, once again, just a perfect pairing. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, I liked this one and I liked that it was a little bit more bolder flavors
Yeah. Mhm.
um to end with. It was great.
Yeah. All right. Then we wanted desserts.
Of course we want a dessert. Are you kidding me?
So there were two desserts. Which was the first dessert we had, baby?
Our first dessert that we had, a roasted Bella Jewel apricot with a yogurt sorbet. This was yummy. Very light, fruity bite. I thought it was very fitting for the summertime.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think thinking of it in that way, yeah, it was definitely prepared for the season. Yeah, the sorbet was fine. Apricot was fine. I'm not a huge apricot fan.
I am.
You are
That's insane.
a huge apricot fan, but this was fine. This was okay.
It's delicious.
The next dessert, though, I really enjoyed. This was their chocolate dish.
Yeah, we had a warm Peruvian chocolate tart with a Tahitian vanilla ice cream, which obviously was delicious.
They had those little fancy leaf cutout things.
Yeah, they had these beautiful little laser cut chocolate leaves. Yeah, this one was very rich and yummy, especially if you're a chocolate lover like
Yeah,
me.
yeah. And then with the Tahitian vanilla, I mean, it's like it was like a Michelin star sundae. It was fantastic.
Yeah, this was paired with the port though, and I don't
Oh
like
yeah,
ports.
that's right. So I don't know enough about wine to go over the wines that we had, but Zoe's not a port fan, so don't go to Portugal, baby.
I'll go to Portugal. I just won't drink the ports. A little too much for me.
Yeah, so ports typically have that kind of sharp sweet flavor, and I'm not a huge fan of them either. But the Peruvian chocolate dessert itself was fantastic. I did definitely like it better than the apricot dish.
Yeah, I wish it was like 5 times bigger, but,
So besides the tawny, though, like we mentioned before, our sommelier had said he was going to serve us our uh, best champagne we've ever had, which we actually had a disagreement about. That we weren't sure which one we got. So I thought we had the 2015 Bollinger champagne, but Zoe, you thought we had actually had the 2005 Revered, right?
I mean, I think so. I think that's why it was so delicious,
Yeah.
but
I must have wrote it down in my notes wrong because I had it in my notes as the Bollinger, if I'm saying that right.
I don't know.
But
I just remember it being a really old
well, it's interesting you remember the
bottle.
2005, and that's their 2005 bottle is that champagne, that Roto Red, which either way, whether it was the Bollinger or the Roto Red, it
It was the
was
best champagne I've ever
it
had.
was the best champagne we
I've
ever
had a
had.
lot of champagne.
So he was right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the end of the meal. What time was it by then, baby?
Oh, it was about midnight.
A little bit after. I think it was
Yeah.
almost 12:30 at night when we finished the meal.
Yeah.
Probably
And
because
things
I
were still in full swing.
yes, yes, there were still a lot of people there, still dishes coming out. It's New York, city never sleeps, and I can see
Quite
why.
literally. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why. If they're serving food like that, I'm not going to go to sleep either.
Yeah. So we ended up walking back to the hotel, which
Yeah,
is just, a couple blocks, 10-minute walk
yeah.
is fine.
So the restaurant itself, after we got our check, definitely the most expensive we spent on a Michelin meal. Although we did have Noma reservations for the pop up that came here in Los Angeles, and those were how much were those as a seat?
It was $3,000, $1,500 a seat.
Yeah. So after some of the unfortunate things that came out of the Noma camp, we actually canceled our reservation. So that would have been our most expensive seating, but now it's still Lake Bernardin. So yeah, it was a little over $1,000 for the two of us at the end of this meal, which I thought was money well spent because it was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, I'd go back.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby.
Hey, this was for our trip to Manhattan. So
Sorry.
what's your rating?
Oh, my rating. So, I mean, I ate a lot of Michelin restaurants now, and this is still my favorite.
Yeah, I agree. This is still my favorite as well.
I think just the level of execution and skill. Oh, it's so good. Like, so good. Even though their bread's not that good, I'll let them buy.
So this
My rating would be a 9.5.
okay, not a 9.561.
No, 9.5.
Yeah, I think this would be a 9.5 for me as well. Just I think from start to finish, you really see the amount of thought and care that goes into each of these dishes and how much attention must be spent to making sure all these dishes are were cooked perfectly, were served on time with the sauces. I can't time my own dishes out at home for Zoe and me when we eat. So them doing that for a meal this exquisite for a whole restaurant is really mind blowing.
Yeah, I think it was just definitely the most classic Michelin experience you can have that we've had anyway. So I really enjoyed it. And I recommend anybody that can do it while they're there in New York should try it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah. So, just like Zoe said, we got back to the hotel, just walking a short distance, and we had to go to bed at that point because we had a very busy rest of the trip planned, which we will get into our next episode.
Yeah. I think we'll definitely try out Per Se next time we're there. Another 3-star right down the street.
Yeah,
All right. Yes, we did have a busy day. So we wrapped it up and went to sleep.
we did. It was very nice. Thanks again for listening to this first episode on our trip to Le Bernardin and to Manhattan for my 40th birthday. We're going to finish off our New York trip and my 40th birthday dinner that Zoe planned at Craft Restaurant with Tom Colicchio. So please don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review to our podcast and YouTube channel. It really helps with the algorithms. All right, baby, sign us off.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.